It's a really good question. DAO for Ethereum, for example, the Vitalik's definition of DAO is a complex system of smart contracts that algorithmically and automatically execute tasks if given circumstances happen. So that DAO is one where the human component is just given because of the algorithmic incapacity to execute a given task, right? For example, to program the smart contract or to bail out a smart contract in case it should go wrong, like it happened with the ETC fork. So this is one very automated and machinic definition of DAO. Then Dash comes in with a governance model where the human component is much more important because it's stakeholders taking decisions together. And this kind of governance, distributed autonomous organization, changes in the meaning, because autonomous doesn't mean that it functions by itself without human interception. Autonomous means that it has an independent economic and political system in which things are happening. So this is also the view we have of a DAO, of course, because we also inherit the governance model from Dash. So we also see ourselves as such a DAO, in which the human component is not just jumping in when algorithms aren't able to execute a task, but where the human component is actually the model that drives the things forward, because it's people self-organizing, taking decisions on top of a machinic layer. So you have social consensus on top of a algorithmic machinic consensus. That's my take of the DAO, and that's what we're trying to build. I had the pleasure to meet a really interesting guy who used to work for distributed systems in the US Army in the 90s, and he was also engaged at Crown at some stage because he was very critical towards blockchain technology. And he once defined the problem of the DAO as the dining philosopher's dilemma, where you have like 4 philosophers sitting around a table, a given number of forks, but not enough forks for every philosopher to have forks. And they need 2 forks to eat at any time. So whenever one philosopher is eating, the other one cannot eat. And this is also what's happening with our DAO. We do not have enough resources to fund all the departments. So although we're cooperating, if we didn't put so much emphasis on not competing, the logical result would be that either you fund development or you fund marketing or you fund this other thing, but you don't always have enough funding for everyone. So that's one of the biggest problems I see in the DAO. It's really idealistic. It's really nice to see it working and see developers being able to live off it, but it can carry to self-exploitation because there's not enough resources, and that leads to sacrifice. And I think this revolution should be one of joy and of working together and not sacrificing ourselves in the name of future whatever, wealth, freedom, or so on. So if we're going to become free through this, it will be through a good experience, and we need to take care of ourselves and figure out how to fill these holes that the DAOs still have. We have seen, what I think the biggest project is that of the Crown contributors, because when Crown was funded, it was 4 people. Then at some stage it was 6 people. And then it emerged into a kind of core team. You had consultants, veterans of the space, and it was maybe a core of 10 people who had private chats in which they were discussing the strategy to go forward. And the community was a passive one that was receiving this information and was on a kind of outside public channel. And then on the private side, you had the core team. So I think the most successful project of Crown is that in which when we turned this internal team and this passive community into a mesh of contributors We dissolved all the private channels, and since then we have all our working processes public, all our code public, in public repositories where you can discuss on it, where you can register to comment. And this is actually the most successful and ongoing project. It's not a business case, it's a self-organizing case where people are learning to work together and to build this new technology together and take responsibility for it. Well, on one side, we have almost 5 years of lifetime, and we're still out there. We still have the same old Bitcoin Talk topic that you can read through. So you have 5 years of history public on Bitcoin Talk. We have no pre-mine, we have no ICO, we're a fair launch coin. So this is something that we can build on, and we have built on it. We have built expanded APIs on Bitcoin Core technology that can be used for payment, that can be used for governance, and that can be used for registry. So if you combine all this together with the fact that we have a unique and industry-first all-node staking consensus algorithm, and look at this awesome community that is contributing, working together on making this even bigger, then I think the selling points are clear. Friendly community, top-notch technology, and long proven experience. We're deprofessionalizing use. So we're trying to make it really easy to use. In Ethereum, you need solidity to program a smart contract. At Crown, you just need to learn 3 API calls and you can register your own token. We're trying to explain how easy and how resource cheap it is to leverage the potential of blockchain technology. And on the other side, we're trying to prove how important it is to run things on a blockchain that has a certain age, that has lived through certain contexts, and that can serve as a resilient infrastructure for whatever needs either end users or small and medium businesses have. As a registration infrastructure, as a payment infrastructure. So we're eager to get feedback and to say, hey, this is really shit. Please make it look a little bit better, or please make it a little bit more intuitive. We're on a constant beta and happy to receive more feedback on that. Crown was a merged mined coin, SHA-256. So as Bitcoin mining centralizes in pools, and not many pools are interested in mining a low cap coin besides Bitcoin because it's too much fuss having to update clients or whatever. In the end, this led into the fact that we were being mined with around 12 or 15% of the hash rate of the whole Bitcoin network by 2 or 3 major Bitcoin mining pools, which meant that all the production of Crown was going to these pools, and none of the community members, of active contributors, were able to produce Crown. We had centralization of hash rate on one side, centralization of coin production on the other side, and we had some technical problems where these miners forked unintentionally our network. So that led us to have to think about what way we want to go. We couldn't keep doing it like this because we were going to die. And we had either the option of turning ourselves into a GPU mined coin with a really low hash rate that makes you really vulnerable after having built your reputation on having a big chunk of the Bitcoin hash rate on a small cap project that made our blockchain really secure. So this wasn't really an alternative for us. And then we started exploring proof of stake systems. And what we tried to do is adapt the proof of stake system to the fact that by accumulating a bigger amount of coin, you do not have an advantage towards smaller stakers. So we removed wallet staking and we turned our 2 infrastructural layers, which are master and system nodes and execute central systems in the core too. We turned them into the Crown block producers, and this is the status quo as of now. That is why we moved away, because we needed a concrete solution for our problem. And we're caught in this discussion between proof of work and proof of stake, but I wouldn't see it as an opposition, because our system combines proof of work with proof of stake to make the system secure. I would say visit our webpage, visit our Medium. We have in-depth articles about what we're working on, technical, more descriptive, easier to consume articles, and feel free to join our open community channels on Discord, on Telegram, visit us on Twitter, on Facebook. We're everywhere and waiting to chat with you.